Andy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Retired horror author Andy Van Scoyoc. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Good. After the last time we talked to you, you weren't on Twitter anymore, and the first thing I did was just yell at Slim. I'm like, "What did you do, dude? Like, why?"
No,
he punished me. He was like, "Go to a corner."
People get on my fucking nerves so bad. They do this. Oh, support my shit, and then I put offers out there, and people, saying, "Hey, I'll support you. Support my magazine, whatever." And people won't take me up on it. And it's like, you know what? I'm tired of all you dumb fuckers. You claim you want support, yeah. You don't want people to do shit for you, so fuck off. But this time I'm back for good. I'm not leaving now. I'm just gonna block any asshole that gets on my nerves.
I get annoyed. I mute so many conversations and just people on there.
I'm just gonna start blocking people because it's like, fucker, don't come to me. It's just like today I had somebody contact me. Oh, hey, if you'd like to hear our music, I'm like, hey, look, if you want to be a sponsor of my magazine, it's free, and I'll put a permanent link to your site for your music on my magazine's website.
Yeah.
Do you think they got back with me? So it's like, fuck off. Fuck off. Don't be wasting my time telling me you want me to listen to your shit. What's in it for me?
I hate the auto DMs, but I had one recently where, you figure you get one and you're done, but this one kept coming in like once a week. I would get a new one. Finally, wow. I just blocked them.
Of auto DMs?
Yeah, like a new auto crappy.
Oh yeah, they have auto DMs. I get them all the time.
Yeah. What is your magazine's website, Andy?
It's on Facebook. Let me pull it up for you, and I'll give it to you real quick. Let's see, because I've just started it. It's on Facebook. If you do the little @ thing, you should be able to find it at the Morgue at Midnight.
Okay, the Morgue at Midnight. Awesome. The
Morgue at Midnight.
And what is that? Is that horror reviews? Is it short stories?
It's dark poetry. It's the only virtual magazine still trying to stay within Facebook's guidelines and not getting me kicked off or anything. It's if you're suicidal and you want to send me shit about how you hate life and you wish everybody was dead and the world would just die or whatever, you can send me stuff like that.
Cool.
If you write dark poetry, the night is long, shit like that, you can send me that. If you take photography, like the other day, I found a dead deer on the side of the road, what was left of it, and I took a picture of that and uploaded it. Gravestones, anything having to do with mental illness, or especially what I'm trying to get is people in the funeral industry to send me some of their shit, like coffin pictures and urns and shit like that.
I have a friend who got a job as like a groundskeeper, but he does the cremation and stuff. I will definitely pass that along to him.
That's awesome. So I can hate on him a little bit because I'm trying to get part-time work at a funeral home, and Florida and the funeral home area is like a good old boys club. It's like you don't ever see a female funeral attendant. And I remember even like when my grandmother died, I wanted to be a pallbearer at her funeral, and my uncle wouldn't have it. Wow. And then I wanted to be a pallbearer at my dad's funeral, and my dad's older sister wouldn't have it. So it's like, fuck all y'all.
Right? If you want to do it, why the fuck can't you?
Exactly.
I was just thinking too, he told me, like, because I worked with him and then he got the other job. He told me his interview for the for the funeral home, it was crazy. Like they made, because I guess like if the ground is frozen in like the winter, when you dig in a grave, you have to use a jackhammer. So they made him pick up a jackhammer. They wanted to see if he could handle
the interview
in an office. In an office,
jackhammer.
Interview. Pick up that jackhammer. Let me see if you could steady that. Yeah.
This sounds like Slambo interviewing someone.
Anything here, you'd have to worry about sinkholes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you guys got the sinkholes. Oh man. What that's what I was gonna ask. I saw on your IMDb that you always wanted to be a funeral director. I didn't know if you'd ever done it, or I didn't know it was that way.
Yeah, I've wanted to be a funeral director since I graduated from high school, but I have an unnatural fear, probably what some people would consider an irrational fear of what could be in body fluids. And no matter how much, if I wore a face mask, if I wore like a toxic moon suit, I would still be paranoid. Oh, did I get blood on me? Is it going to creep in somewhere? Is there a slice in the mask or something somewhere? I would be like way too freaked out about that. So, and in order to be a funeral director, you have to be a mortician. You have to be able to embalm bodies too. Yeah. And while I could stand all day and watch somebody else do it, I am not getting anywhere near, because I watch like Dr. G, And, she's always got, like, blood all over her and stuff. And it's like, oh, hell no. I'd be freaking out. I would be like, somebody sprayed me with acid. Get this shit off me.
Take off a layer of skin. Just get it the fuck off me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I could never do it. But I've been trying to get work in funeral homes for years. And in Florida, seriously, it's just a good old boys club.
That's crazy.
It's just, you never see, the only place you see a female is sitting behind the desk answering the phones.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Wow. What I saw too, you ride a motorcycle?
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to sell my motorcycle now, but yeah, I have my own motorcycle.
What kind?
It's a Yamaha T-Max. It's technically considered a scooter, and people laugh at it until they try to race me, and I leave their ass in the dust. It does 120 right off the showroom floor. No enhancements, no aftermarket, no nothing.
Nice.
120.
We have a Yamaha mixer. I like it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm trying to sell my bike because down here,
I was gonna ask.
My husband says I look like a little kid sitting on the bike because it's so much bigger than me because it's a 500.
Okay.
So he says it's so much bigger than you. You look like a little kid on it. Nobody can see you. No wonder you've been almost run over half a dozen times.
My dad has a Harley, and I never rode a bike. And my buddy, my barber, Carmine, his dad doesn't and is against it, and he has one. And we just laugh at each other. Like, he laughs at me. He's like, "You're rebelling the other way against your dad. I'm rebelling that way, where I got the bike." And he's like, "Your dad's a biker." And
I want to eventually get a bike.
I know, and Slambo here wants a Harley or something.
Yeah, Harley.
I'd like to have a Can-Am.
What's that?
That's a little bit bigger, and it's the one with the I think it's the 2 wheels in front and 1 in back.
Oh, yes,
and
I've seen that.
It's a motorcycle, but it looks almost like one of those like off-road things.
Yeah.
And you can see those a little bit better because they're so unique. They stand out. You can actually see them where, for some reason, even me wearing a neon orange reflective jacket and my bike is painted like a brilliant ultramarine blue. It's gorgeous. People still don't see it.
Yeah, well, that's why my dad's been hit so many times. Like, he had one accident once where, like, just cars don't see you. If his leg had gotten broken anymore, they would have had to amputate it. Like...
Oh my God! Yeah, not too long ago, my husband was out on his motorcycle, and some woman pulled right out in front of him. He slid right up to her door. She had her window down and grabbed a hold of her door, and he's like, "What the fuck, bitch?"
My dad will do that too.
And he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yes. Yeah. No. He carries in his vest like big heavy metal ball bearings. Where if somebody's like getting like coming up to like hit him, he'll just throw a ball bearing at their windshield. He doesn't. He's been hit too many times.
That's metal. That's metal.
I've heard too. Like I've heard from my buddy Rick I used to work with, and my dad. Like the days they've gotten in accidents, they always get a weird feeling. Like they say, always follow your gut. If you get a weird feeling before you go riding, don't do it.
Don't go riding that day.
Anytime my dad said he's gotten an accident, is when he's gotten that feeling and just went out anyway. Like, yeah, it's so weird. So weird that they say that.
Oh, yeah. That happened to me one year when we were headed to the Leesburg Bike Fest. We were almost outside of Brooksville because we take back roads. And there was a hearse going the same way as us. And I got this bad feeling, and I got my husband's attention, and we pulled over, and I'm like, a hearse going the same way? Now, a hearse going the opposite direction from you is good luck. This hearse is out in the middle of nowhere, going the same way we're going. We're going home. We'll just go tomorrow. So we went on Sunday, and it was fine.
Wow, yeah. No, my dad, he does every year too. He does the in Washington D.C. They have the Rolling Thunder where they go to the memorial for Vietnam. And one of the years coming back, one of the guys in his club got hit so badly on the highway. He had to be airlifted. I think him or his wife, one of them, like died or something. I don't know. There's always some.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. What I wanted to ask too, Eddie.
You got the kids on the crotch rockets that race through traffic and shit. It's like, okay, you're the reason people don't pay any attention to
Those are the fucking worst.
Shorts and flip flops. Yeah, like
they're
that is
the worst. Those are the ones most people kill themselves on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Andy, I wanted to ask, as a retired author, do you ever get like an idea though that makes you just want to write again?
Oh, hell no.
Really?
No. No,
like
my dark prose is as close as I come to writing. Every once in a while, I'll see something and I'll whip out like a 200 or 300 word short story and post it somewhere. Say, here, everybody have a read.
Yeah.
But no, my thing is, I would still love to have some of my books and stories made into movies, and I would love to do like music videos and stuff. Because I've been wanting to do music videos since I was when MTV first started out. What year was that? 1980, 80, 81, something like that?
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, it was the same year the song Video Killed the Radio Star came out, because that was the first video that MTV played.
Yep.
And ever since I've seen music videos, I've wanted to make movies and things, but I have to get with someone that has the means to do it, and I live out in the middle of BFE, meth head, podunk hell, and there's nobody around here that...
Meth heads make great actors.
They only got to pay them in meth.
That's it. You pay, seriously, pay them in meth or beer. Seriously, here, around here where I live, if the event does not have beer involved, people will not show up.
I'll produce like the first 2 pages of one of your books, and Slambo's going to play all the characters in it.
Be sure you drink some beer.
It's already there.
And all the bars around here do great.
I'm gonna try to say this too, Andy. I hope I don't butcher it. What is the horror Sinisteria genre?
Oh, Sinisteria.
Sinisteria.
You know,
Okay.
Sinisteria.
When I started writing, people didn't quite know what to do with me. A lot of people called me the next Anne Rice. But then a lot of people would read my stuff and be like, oh, hell no, even Anne Rice doesn't go this far.
Wow.
A lot of sex and vampires. That's all I think of when I hear Anne Rice.
Yeah, sex and vampires and cannibalism. And, well, let me put it to you like this. I've been FBI profiled twice.
Yeah.
If that tells you how bad my books are.
I know. We talked about that last time.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the local authorities read my stuff to see, as one cop put it, I need to make sure that there's not someone that needs to know you're walking around without a chaperone. Yeah, stuff like that. And so... when I started writing, people really, they didn't know where to put me. So somebody one day said to me, your stuff is horror and it's sinister. It's kind of like Clive Barker in his really weird days, and then like other weird stuff, but it's just horror. They said horror Sinisteria. And I said, yeah, that'd probably be the best way to put it.
I like that.
And somehow from that, it got started that I created the genre.
It's a genre made for you. That's it, no? I was going to say, it's a genre made for you.
Yeah, it was, but I didn't create it. I just kind of like wrote whatever was in my sick and twisted head, and it just kind of happened to fit into a whole bunch of different things.
Nice.
So a fellow writer said, yeah, this is more like a horror Sinisteria. And so that's where it came from.
That's cool. I was going to ask, too, would you be able to read us an excerpt from one of your books?
I looked, and there's nothing I could read in any of my books that you could put on your show.
That is a lie. That is a complete lie.
They're not having it.
Yeah, no. There is anything you can read that we can put on our... We've already been threatened plenty of times. We're good.
Yeah, no. If I got to reading Michael or playing devil's advocate, I mean, I've had stalkers and the only thing I've never had is death threats, but I've been followed. I mean, all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
so
see, I wouldn't want that.
What I'll do instead is just to give people a little taste is I've grown up with the paranormal and the occult, and I have a collection of just little experiences in my life. Some people say it's boring. Some people say it's fascinating. It's just I wanted to have these incidents that have happened in my life in writing, so I put them in writing. So the one I'm going to read to you is about when my grandfather died.
Okay.
He had been caring for my grandmother who had dementia, and he let his health go. We're not really sure why he died. It's just everything in his body started shutting down. And he didn't ask for help. He was a very private man. He was an American Indian. And so he was a very private person, didn't ask a lot for help. So I traveled 1,000 miles to go to his funeral because he died in Missouri. And the day of his funeral was black and overcast, and spitting rain. And at the funeral, at the service in the church, which, yes, I was able to walk into without it burning down around me, we went into the church, and everything it was like thunder and lightning. And so here's where I'm gonna read from about my grandfather's funeral and about the small town that they were in.
Okay.
My grandparents spent their entire adult lives there, owning and operating a general store at one time, so there was not a person in the community who did not know my grandfather. Just as we left the church, it began to spit rain. We drove to the cemetery, and the sky opened up, but something else happened as well. Gale force winds assailed us, making the graveside service nearly impossible. The only people in attendance were my cousins, my husband, aunts, uncles, and my parents. The wind howled and rain poured down literally in buckets. The wind was blowing so hard that it blew sideways. The storm attacked us as if it was angry, demanding that we leave the cemetery and not waste any time grieving. That was when I knew my grandfather had a hand in it. My Uncle Adrian, who's a minister and officiated the service, did the best that the weather would allow him to do. And drenched, we left the cemetery, the tarp over us threatening to pull from its stakes at any moment. Strangely enough, the moment we got in the car, the rain began to subside, and once we got on the road headed back to my grandparents' house, the rain stopped and a rainbow came out. And the first thing I said to my husband when the rain stopped was, Grandpa made that storm come. He was upset at us for being in the cemetery. That's just like him. He was a simple and practical man in life, and in death, I suppose he's the same way. He saw no need for us to be crying at his grave. Everyone desperate to get out of the storm had simply gotten in their cars, in no particular order, knowing that we would all meet at my grandparents' house. And that was when the most amazing thing of all happened. My husband and I got right behind a school bus. It seemed that others did as well, as my parents included, because everyone saw it. Now, you might think a school bus, big deal. What's so special about a school bus? I think it's prudent to tell you that for many, many years, when times were lean and my grandparents needed extra money, my grandfather drove a school bus. That's just one of the little tales.
That was cool.
It's called A Walk in the Moonlight.
It made me think too. My buddy Tino, we were late 20s, and when he passed, and I can't tell you how many months before he had stopped by to see me. I was working, and I got home from work that day, and my parents left me a note that just said, Tino stopped by to see you. And the night before he passed, or it was the night he passed. Like, I'm so lazy. I'm such a slob. I let my mail pile up like an inch or two thick, and this note was under that pile, and out of the blue, the night he passed, like, it was at the top of that pile. Like, it's just, crazy that fucking happened. Like, but yeah, there's something that happens sometimes. Like, yeah, it's like, I don't know, did he do that?
Yeah,
like,
it was just weird because my grandfather, because the town that they live in, it has all of like 50 people in it. It's out in the middle of nowhere, ends at the levee at the Mississippi River. I mean, it's like a dead end place. And for, I don't know how many decades, I think it was 4, my grandfather drove a school bus when he and my grandmother needed a little extra money because they had the only store in the town. And so if they needed extra money, my grandfather would drive the school bus. And sure enough, we're leaving the cemetery. This gale force wind, I mean, I'm telling you, the little thing that they put over you to keep you, that you can stand under for the funeral, that thing threatened to come out of the ground. I can't tell you how many times. And finally, my Uncle Adrian, he was just like, okay, you know what? Let's just leave. And the minute we got in the cars to leave, it stopped.
Yes, that's something. That's
and I was
something.
like, that is so grandpa. That is so grandpa. And then, like I said, getting behind the bus. Yeah. Because we're sitting there riding behind this bus, and I'm like, you have got to be shitting me. And my husband's like, yeah, we get behind a fucking bus. We're leaving a funeral. We get behind a fucking bus. I'm like, no. I never told you this before.
Wow.
Grandpa used to drive a school bus, and he's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no.
Cool.
I'm like, Grandpa drove a school bus, and here we are behind him. When we got back to the house, I was like, Mother, did you see that? And she said, the school bus? I said, yep. And she said, oh, yeah.
I was going to ask, too, Andy, do you still do a show on Scream Radio?
No. I retired from that because half-hour shows are just a little bit more than I'm so lazy. You talk about how lazy you are. I'm seriously lazy. And half-hour shows are just a little bit too much for me to do. Scream Radio still has all of my stories that I did for them, and they're welcome to run them as long as they want because I did them exclusively for Scream Radio.
Okay.
But I'm still considered part of the family because I was like one of the first people to help do it and everything. Cool. But I'm no longer active. I just rather now do voiceover work and just do little things like that.
I'm lazy like at home, but for the show I put in a lot. Like it's like certain things.
I did that. I was on the manic track for God, what was it? 8 years, I think it was, that I was just 3 and 4 cons a month, mixed in with 3 and 4 book signings a month. I would spend all day at work networking online, plus I had 2 magazines. I mean, I did like a whole lifetime's worth of work in only 8 years.
Wow.
And it took me that long to get burned out, but it's like, no, I'm lazy as hell now.
One day I'll be there. Well, yeah, everything I'll be lazy with. What
Yeah, now I'm just like voiceover work. I got my little magazine that I do. I'll help with movies. I've got movie ideas. I still have my little consulting firm that people can contact me if they need polishing for their script, or if they say, hey, I need you to look at this clip and tell me what you think about it before I add it to my movie or whatever. On Q Finance or Fine Arts Consulting is the name of my consulting. I still do that, but it's like, no, unless somebody comes to me and says, hey, we want to make your book into a major motion picture, I'll be like, yeah, whatever.
Did you hear, I wanted to ask too, did you hear the last time you were on, did you hear the guest after you? Because I think you intimidated him. Like
Who's after?
Richard Case.
Oh.
And when he called you, he was like,
was it?
his name is Richard Case, and he was a hack comedian. Yes. And he was like, well, what's up with that? Because you would mention the coffin and all. He was, I forget what he said, but Slim being amazingly cunty, Slim was like, yeah, we liked her. Like implying not only did we love you, but we hated him. Like, and that's how.
Every now and then I shine.
Yeah, I have a baby coffin in my living room. Get the fuck over it.
Yeah, people. But he said it like we were gonna help him beat up on you.
Like he was being shitty to you.
Yeah, or being funny, or like it would play good with us. And no, we didn't enjoy him, and we were assholes to him. Yeah, no, like it was like, yeah, what do you have? What do you have? Show me what you have. Don't.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. I ran into that left and right when I was writing. Oh, my God, because I was never a member. It's like I told you guys before when I did the interview with you. I was never a member of the country club. I did everything my own way and told everybody to fuck off. I can't tell you how many haters I had. So who knows? He might be a hater left over from back in my writing days.
He's a hater. Yeah, he hates life. He's also, his day job is like front desk at a motel. So he's right where he belongs. Right where he belongs.
Wow. I got nothing.
I was gonna ask too, Andy.
Unless it's Motel Hell, not interested.
Yeah, I know you're friends with Isaac Thorne. I didn't know if you read his book Roadkills.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I have to get back into reading because I was so nitpicky over everything I wrote that even after the editors would get done with my books, I would go back through it.
Oh, wow.
So even to this day, even being retired as long as I have been, if I pick up anything, if I pick up a cereal box and read the back of it, I go into edit mode. So, and I go, seriously, magazines, catalogs, I'm going through there, and while I'm reading, I'm looking for stuff wrong with it. So it's like, that takes all the joy out of reading.
See, I gotta get where, like, I gotta just do it. I gotta do it. Like, I've read half of it. I loved it, but it's like, I gotta get in the mood. I gotta get psyched up to do it, where it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's so hard to motivate yourself to sit down and read.
And that was a book about cannibalism. So.
Yes. Yeah, but you kind of do have to, like, psych yourself up. You have to motivate yourself. Like, but it was what I've read is amazing. I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I read a good friend of mine sent it to me. It was a project that she did, and she sent it to me and asked me if I would review it, and I only reviewed it because cannibalism, of course.
That's great. Andy, thank you so much. The time has flown. Thank you so much for talking.
It really has, but you guys are always so much fun.
So are you. Where can everybody find you?
Everybody can find me on Twitter. I am at Andy Van Scoy on Twitter.
Okay.
And if you want to submit, anybody out there wants to submit anything to my magazine, The Morgue at Midnight.
The Morgue at
on
Midnight.
Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on again, guys. And let me know when we can do this again. It's always fun.
Absolutely. We will. Have a good one.
You too.
Take care.